Yeah. So we talked about the federation structure of the National Green Party. So just to kind of give folks a sense of what that means, we have this diagram that's maybe not actually as clear as I had hoped it would be. But on the left side, it says there's delegates from state parties. There's like a plus sign in the middle there, and then delegates from identity caucuses. So the way the National Party was formed is that we affiliate, we recognize and accredit both state parties as well as caucuses that have to um, apply for accreditation. So right now there's 5 caucuses. There's a Black Caucus, the National Black Caucus, the National Women's Caucus, Latinx Caucus, the Lavender Greens, which is our LGBTQIA caucus, and then the Youth Caucus, which calls itself the Young Eco-Socialist. So these 5 caucuses, together with state parties from many states, but not all states, because as we mentioned, Georgia and a few others don't have a state party that's accredited at the moment. But there are people working on affiliating a new state party. So there's in progress work, I'll call it. But each of those state parties and caucuses will elect delegates to go to our national committee, and our national committee is kind of like our Green Party Congress. It's where the National Green Party makes decisions. And those can be any kind of decisions, including how to update the platform, like what sort of things go into the platform. It could be issuing, statements or policy statements or press releases, that kind of thing. It could be endorsing candidates. It could be endorsing actions, like endorsing, a peace march or peace rally or something like that. Any sort of decision that has to go through the national party typically goes through the national committee, where delegates from all the states and caucuses will vote on and discuss those things. That's kind of the high level decision making process. The national committee also has created about 20 smaller national level committees that focus on different aspects. So there's, for example, a ballot access committee that reaches out to states to try to help them get on the ballot in those states. It could be giving advice and training, but there's also they award grants to states to help pay for like Chris was saying, pay for people to go collect signatures on petitions, so that those petitions can be filed to put the party on the ballot, put that party's candidates on the ballot. So there's the ballot access committee. There's like a media committee that drafts a lot of our press releases and stuff. There's an outreach committee, which the outreach committee is the one I think that's been working with people in various states to form new state parties. There's a platform committee that reviews the platform and makes recommendations and kind of oversees the process and stuff like that. There's a bunch of others. So you can look them up on the National Party website, but that's how the work is split up. So ideally, I would recommend people get involved first with your local party to really kind of get a sense for who's in your area and learn about your state party and things like that. But as you learn and you figure things out, you can work up to working in the national party and working with other states on various things, messaging and supporting candidates and all this stuff.
Yeah, I want to second what Garrett said, and I can say from experience, it's probably the best way to get involved. I first got involved with the Green Party in 2013. At my first state party meeting, I was elected to the national committee. That was a bad idea, right? It threw me straight into national, sausage making. So, that happened. I didn't stop being a green, but I disengaged a little, right? I stepped back. It was too much. I jumped too high up into the echelons of the party too quickly, and then re-engaged in about 2015. Got helping with the Jill Stein campaign, was elected as national co-chair, and so I've actually kind of done the opposite of what Garrett said you should do, and what I agree with my experience. I started top and started working down, and that was just kind of circumstances with me, right? It was the people that I knew that pushed me to run for things like national committee delegate in 2013 or steering committee co-chair in 2016. That led to that. But I probably would have been better off starting local and moving my way up as opposed to starting up, top and moving down. And most people who interact with me will tell you I'm rather salty about the National Party in many ways because I had a baptism of fire in the National Party. So
Yeah,
the steering committee, just to finish up this slide, the steering committee members are elected by the National Committee to basically handle day-to-day administrative functions.
oh yes. Yeah, so that's what I am. I'm one of the 7 co-chairs on the steering committee. Currently, it's a 2-year term, so they change out regularly. But yeah, it's mostly administrative functions. Like, so for example, when the National Committee votes on something, someone has to oversee that voting process. So that's, for example, one of my duties. The national steering co-chairs are also party spokespeople. So, in theory, I do more spokespeople stuff. Probably not as much as I should, but I would like to do more of that in the future. And actually, it gets to the very last point, number 12. But if you notice from the National Committee up to the right corner there, it said send delegates to international things, right? And so that's the next slide, number 12.
Not anymore, though.
Sort of not anymore, but also I think worth mentioning at least.